My name is Ryan Raden, and I'm in Kenice 205, and this is my financial manager video. And this is Thomas Bellamy, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself and tell you exactly what he does. So here you go, Mr. Bellamy.
Yes, I'm Tom Bellamy. I'm the assistant principal at Lions Creek Middle School in Coconut Creek, Florida. And one of my duties is I do supervise and administer our athletic department. I supervise our athletic director and all of our coaches.
All right, perfect. Sound perfect. So, question one: how often is the budget revised, and what type of input does the budget manager collect from the department heads or coaches within the organization?
We revise our budget annually. About this time of the year, we'll start looking back at this past school year, and we'll take a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, and see what went well, any changes that we saw from this past year, and then we will project into next year on making our plans for the following school year.
Okay. So, do all employees have access to the budget information? Why or why not?
Okay, I lost you on part of that, so you have to give me that again.
Do all employees have access to the budget information? Why or why not?
Yes, all employees do have access to any budgetary items, not just employees, but also the public. We are a public school system, so everything, the books and everything are open to anyone's inspection under the state of Florida sunshine laws.
Okay. So how are the budget figures derived from year to year, sport to sport, or season to season?
Again, the budget figures are uh, looked at annually. The biggest chunk of our budget comes from the central office that falls with salaries and contracts within our union contracts. So those are set. The other budgetary needs is we are given a discretionary amount that we will use for supplies, uniforms, equipment, and things like that. The other items would be transportation, which comes from the central office, and most all of the entry fees, officiating fees and such will come from the central office. Now, what we do control here at the school site is we do keep all entry fees. So that gives us a budget. And then any fundraisers and such that we do goes into our athletic budget. And then that is controlled at the school site.
Okay, perfect. So what do you believe are the three most important facets associated with the budget process, and how do they communicate these tenets to others in the organization?
The number one budgetary item is going to be personnel. That's where your biggest chunk of money goes to is with salaries, whether they be the coaches at our site or contract coaches that we do bring in. Second would be uniforms and equipment. And probably the third then would be any additional entry fees and such that we decide to go outside of our regular schedule.
Okay. So ultimately, who in the organization must be accountable for the budgeting process?
Ultimately, the highest level would be our central budgeting office that we do report to within our school at our local site. Would be myself with the athletic director, would put everything together, present that to the principal who has the ultimate decision at the school site. Then they would have that all cleared at the district level.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about the technology aspects of it. Now that this world today, everything is used with technology. So, what is the technology application use? What do you like about the software? What are the problems using the application? And how did you learn to use the application?
Budgetarily, we do use a software system called SAP GUI. It's an acronym for who knows what. It is our central office budgeting software. It's fairly user friendly. Pretty much everything you just enter in the different, you check off boxes or enter in the things that we are participating in, which sports and such, which, you know, coaching supplements and payroll in that. It's fairly easy to use. We were trained from the district. So all centrally, all schools use the same thing. Pretty much just, you know, if we do want to add something different, unique to our school, there is a place for that also.
Okay. So I know you're not the actual athletic director, but you are familiar with the job of athletic director. So I would like to ask, what do you think is the hardest thing for athletic director at your school?
Yeah, not only being the AP over athletics, I do have a background in athletics as far as the ins and outs of the athletic director. And I think, especially as it's come the last 5, 6 years, it's gotten more difficult to make sure we have the proper placement of coaches. At the middle school level, often we rely almost 100% on teachers, coaches, because it's just not enough money for an outside person to come in unless, you know, they're a community volunteer or something like that. We do have a few of those, some parents that'll volunteer, they have some background. But to make sure we match the right people with the sports, some people just have an interest in it, they want to do it. Times we lucky to get one applicant for a sport, so that's kind of tough. Often, at the level I work at, it's real difficult to find female coaches for our female athletic teams. So oftentimes we have men coach the women's athletics. So that adds another layer of making sure we have a female chaperone with those coaches.
Okay. Well, that will be all today. Thank you for your time, Mr. Bellamy. I very appreciate it and hope you have a good day. Thank you.
Okay.